I got this. I got an alert for tough on Hassan the Hun. Tough on the causes of Hassan the Hun. Yeah, that's right. Andrew Cuomo's doing a press conference today, and apparently he is going to be finally. The Macy's came into offline chat with the live stream link of the Cuomo event saying you were being talked about. I thought they were joking. Then I clicked the link a few minutes later and I saw it. That's right. Mamdani. Video is private now, so we can't hear the shitty quality. Wait, no, someone grabbed it, right? Oh, come on, guys. Someone must have grabbed it. They had a live stream where nobody could understand them. Please tell me someone grabbed that shit. Okay, in any case, we'll cover that. We'll cover that. We'll look at that. But very funny stuff. That's what I saw, and then I immediately fucking sent it to, you know, all of my friends and family. I sent it to like Majority Report. I was like, look at this. This is so funny. Because I think it's hilarious. But I'll talk about that in a second. But yeah. That's very fun. That's funny for me, and also very fun for me as well. But the reason why he's doing that, of course, is because he's getting absolutely clobbered. All right, and for good reason. Some new numbers came out for Zohran today, and they look very good. I used all of it, bro. The Hasanabi PR thing is so funny. Hasanabi PR thing has gotten to. I asked about this. Cuomo points out that this poll had him virtually tied one-on-one, says not paying attention to polls. I love that the New York Magazine reporter asked him about my tweet. Reeks of desperation. Yeah. So I'm in Wired as well. I'm on Wired Magazine. But at this point, the whole like Hasanabi pays for PR meme has gotten so out of control that when I sent this photo to Sam Cedar, Sam said, how much did you pay for this PR hit? Oh, man. 9/11 family blasts Zohran Mamdani for associating with terrorist sympathizer Hassan Piker. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, this is such a sad line of attack. Also, yeah, of course it's coordinated. Of course it's coordinated. But, you know, it's no motion as fuck. And the reason why they're doing that is because of this. This is the real reason why they're doing that. As you guys know, Andrew Cuomo, Curtis Sliwa on the Republican ticket, and the current mayor of New York, Eric Adams, are running up against our boy Zohran Kwame Mamdani. Now, Zohran Kwame Mamdani is, according to the new New York Times Siena poll that just came out, basically beating everybody else on every single metric, every possible demographic by a landslide, or at worst, tied for the first in his weakest categories, which is older people. Okay? And what has Andrew Cuomo, who's supposed to be like the guy that is going to try and beat Zohran Mamdani after he lost in the primaries, what has he thought about doing as a line of attack? What has he thought about attacking Zohran Mamdani over, who's the current frontrunner? His connections to a popular Twitch streamer who has been supporting him from the initial stages of the primary. That connection to said popular Twitch streamer, me, has actually played a role in him beating Andrew Cuomo in the primary. Not like a super significant role, but somewhat of a role. So not sure exactly why he thought this would be a fantastic own. Okay? But that's right. Andrew Cuomo has decided to play the association game with Zohran Mamdani. Who are those other people? Victims of Hassan Piker? Yeah, I assume, I don't know anything about this press conference because I didn't see it. I only saw this originally, and it launched me into orbit. Okay, your tweet got age restricted. Which one? But I suspect it's like 9/11 first responders and their children or something. But in any case, it is pretty funny that America's most important city's mayoral race has gotten so completely out of control that they're basically trying to do like internet beef. That is where we're at. Lamont, I work in office with David Friedlander. Yeah, shouts out to David Friedlander, who apparently asked Andrew Cuomo at this presser, because he's the one who actually took the photo and sent it. But shouts out to David, who asked him about his horrible numbers. Because as soon as I saw this, I immediately sent this photo to a bunch of my friends. and said, "This is fantastic." And then I also tweeted, "Great campaign, Mr. Cuomo," with this New York Times Siena poll that just came out. Zohran Mamdani leads by 22 points in a four-way general election. Mamdani is most trusted on affordability, housing, Israel, Palestine, and crime, taxes, dealing with the Trump administration, leads all racial groups, plus 4 out of the 5 boroughs. If the field holds, he wins. So while this is going on, and this is a horrible day to be Andrew Cuomo, horrible numbers coming out, what is he choosing to do? This. If this is your exit ramp, if this is what you think is going to, move your numbers, improve your numbers, if this is what's going to carry you across the finish line, you are delusional. Because 2 reasons, okay? 2 reasons. Number 1, nobody knows who I am, you fucking idiot. No one knows. I try to repeat this to like extremely online people all the time, people that come in here, and even members of my own community. I'm like, guys, for the most part, people know me as like, oh, that progressive guy, okay? That's it. If they know who I am, especially amongst like the normie crowd, they just kind of know me as the progressive guy, okay? And they have a rather positive association with me. Now, of course, there are a lot of negative associations with someone like myself, negative associations coming from incredibly Zionist groups. If you are super, super invested in Israel, then yeah, you're going to know who I am and you're going to have a negative opinion of me. If you are a dedicated Fox News watcher, you might have maybe seen who I am and you might not like who I am. But even then, it's not super relevant overall. And then, of course, last but not least, it's like the extremely online people, but they never go outside and they never vote. So it doesn't really matter. So now you'll be the 9/11 guy to these New Yorkers? No. And he is so desperately trying to farm this shit and trying to do this in a way. But here is the funniest thing. In order for this if this were to ever become a real problem, which it's not, right? All Zohran needs to do is say, I don't know him. And I did a podcast with him because he has a massive platform and it worked. And I don't know him and I don't like him. Okay, what now? You know what I mean? Oh no. All he needs to do is Jeremiah Wright my ass in the same way that Barack Obama did to Reverend Wright. Also, I do personally find it funny that this is another op that I have that is a fucking sex criminal. Oh my God. He was already asked about this during the primary and he said he will go anywhere. Yeah. Regular New Yorkers seeing a picture of Hassan. I don't even know who you are. Yeah. Like, can you imagine a regular ass New Yorker being like, wow, this guy sure sucks. Can't believe Zohran did an interview with him. Like, the reason why this is such a stupid line of attack is because either nobody knows who I am, and that's the overwhelming majority of normies, okay? Or the people that do know who I am overwhelmingly are on the younger side. They're already very pro-Zohran. And part of the reason why they're pro-Zohran is because they might have even seen Zohran and myself communicate on this fairly successful Twitch stream that we conducted early on in his campaign. So who is this for is the question I have. Like, I'm imagining a guy, okay, from one of these like demographics that Zohran is like really cleaning, right? Like a 34-year-old who's like, I really love fast and free buses. And I really think that it's cool that Zohran was saying like, I'm not going to go to Israel. I am the mayor of New York. Why would I go to Israel? I thought all that stuff was cool. But wait a minute. Am I seeing that right? He's hanging out with Hasanabi Piker? Well, that's it for me. Time to vote for Andrew Cuomo, I guess. Like, that's so stupid. And of course, he had been asked about this already by, once again, a Zionist group that was, hammering this early on in the primaries. And he said, I'll go anywhere. I'll talk to anybody. So ultimately, this is just red meat for my haters online who will be like, your association is a negative one with Zohran. It's like, well, I already associated with him and he won the fucking primaries. I did my job. Okay. He was in a crowded field. He was in an incredibly crowded field. And myself and many others in our little sphere of influence recognized that he was a cut above. There were plenty of good candidates there as well, but my job is done. We already brought him into the primary. Okay. So from this point on, it's just not, you can't fucking be like, oh, your association is like hurting his reputation. It's like, no, he's good. Now, of course, the other side of this, too late, too little too late. But the other side of the story that I think is of course interesting is that if we were to talk about associations, Andrew Cuomo is associated with the entirety of the Trump orbit, Trump himself, and also Benjamin fucking Netanyahu. Like, what are you talking about? There's no comparison. Oh, wow. This guy hung out with the Twitch streamer who said America's actions in the Middle East was what caused 9/11 to happen, okay, in 2019. Wow, you got him. So ultimately, that is nothing in comparison to Andrew Cuomo's long list of genuinely vile associates, especially from the perspective of New Yorkers. But yeah, Can't Ever Die says they're calling this the greatest campaign ever devised. Campaigns like this have a base of entirely 60-plus-year-olds who will see this and immediately move on. The average Cuomo voter has never heard of any leftist online personalities law. Exactly. All this does, for me at least, is increase my visibility. It doesn't do anything to Zohran in general. And if it ever even got to like a serious point for them, all he could do is just say, I don't know him. I'm not associated with him in any way. And that's it. That's all he has to do in that situation. Now, I don't think he should do that. Once again, it's in a way, it's not that different from, the whole, like, not backing down from the globalize the intifada message, right? Because like his original assessment there was correct. Like this only becomes like, I mean, it'll never become like a real problem, but this only becomes even like a blip on anyone's radar if you make it. Because this is not a real thing. This is not a real point of contention, right? It's not a real point of contention at all. You're killing it. You're cooking. And it's, your association with a massively popular streamer that is massively popular by the standards of like a lot of Zohran's base of support is not going to be a negative for you. Okay. Hey, you know that massively popular streamer who's beloved by millions and resonates with Gen Z? He supports the other guy. Yeah. This association is not a negative one. It's a positive one. And I'm not just saying that because I'm me. I think it only becomes an issue if you make it an issue. But he might. Who knows? I mean, he has appeared squeamish at times when it comes to like Israel-related things every now and then because he thinks that will stop people from yelling at him. Hassan, I think it's a big issue for Zohran. It's not. The reason why it's not a big issue is because most people don't know who the fuck I am. And the ones that do are already like either door knocking for Zohran or have voted for Zohran. Like, it comes down to this, and I mean this. I am not glazing my own self when I say this. I think I am a more popular figure in New York City than Andrew Cuomo. This is not to say that I am more known than Andrew Cuomo. Of course, Andrew Cuomo is a much more visible, much more known person, but he's also a hated person in New York City. I am not. Do I have my share of haters in New York City? Certainly. But the number of people who like me is far larger than the number of people who hate me in New York City specifically. And I would say that it is a reversal for Andrew Cuomo. A lot more people know who he is, and a lot more people don't like him than do like him. And I would go so far as to say that if we went band for band in terms of how many people would be willing to go out to a rally or a meetup that I set up, me versus Andrew Cuomo, there would be more people showing up to mine than his. Do you see what I mean? Does Zohran know about you and what Cuomo is mentioning? What do you mean? You versus Cuomo money spread? Hassan self-glazing, but I like it. How is it in LA compared to New York City? I love New York City. He was endorsed by Wendy Turigi, who became an EMT after the attack. She added his opponent, Zohran Mamdani, proudly associated with Hassan Piker, a man who said America deserved 9/11. To families like mine, that's not politics, that's life and death. His association with Hassan Piker qualifies him to serve at any role for New York City, let alone as important as mayor. I'm calling on Zohran Mamdani to disavow Hassan Piker and his hateful words. Like, the whole, like, he needs to disavow Hassan Piker. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? This is yet again another instance where you going to let the reactionary group, the reactionary entity in this race, Andrew Cuomo, backed by Donald Trump, lead the conversation? Okay? Disavow this person, condemn that person. If you get into this game, okay? If you get into this game, it's not going to be good for you because you're constantly going to have another person that comes after you. That's why I have said before, the whole like sister soldier shit or the Reverend Right shit, like that stuff in the past didn't work either, but Democrats love doing that shit. This is a new meta. This is a new dawn. It is a new day. Okay? Also, I like the implication that I did 9/11. Like these people make it seem as though I was familiar with the matters, and like the subtle implication is like I participated in 9/11, like I did it. Okay? Yeah. So in 2017, Cuomo stood side by side with Sal to sign legislation granting unlimited sick leave to responders battling illnesses from the service. That day, they rode motorcycles together to honor 9/11 first responders to symbolize resilience, solidarity, and progress. I know firsthand what kind of leader Andrew Cuomo is. Wendy Ricci said, as governor, he fought to secure benefits to 9/11 families. He treated our community with the respect and dignity we deserve. That's the kind of leadership New York City needs again. She added his opponent, Zohran Mamdani, proudly associated with Hassan Piker, a man who said America deserved 9/11. To families like mine, that's not politics, that's life and death. It's like, it's crazy to just be like, yeah, dude, you love 9/11. You might have done 9/11. And it's really fucked up that Zohran is associated with this guy who like is responsible for 9/11. It's also pure racism through and through. But it's an act of desperation overall. And once again, in this act of desperation, it only has as much motion as the popular candidate in the field, Zohran Mamdani, gives it. It only has as much motion as Zohran Mamdani breathes life into it. Okay? Cuomo keeps his remarks to benefits for 9/11 victims, saying Mamdani's inexperience is dangerous in the case of terrorist attacks. Families are still living with the pain, and families will still endure the loss from 9/11. Should Zohran respond? And if so, how do you think? Look, I have no way of figuring out exactly how he's going to communicate through this. But the best possible thing would be to just never even respond to this at all. And if you ever were forced to respond to this in like a moment where someone, they sent like a provocateur or something, then they caught you when you were doing like a presser or some shit, the best possible response would be like, what are you talking about? Like, this is a popular media figure. He's a leftist. Of course, I'm going to go on a stream. And of course, instead of like, if we're going to talk about the association game, Andrew Cuomo is associated with Benjamin Netanyahu and Donald Trump. So he's both bad on domestic affairs and bad on foreign policy as well. My association with a progressive Twitch streamer using Fox News lines of attack is so insane, but yet another clear-cut example that Andrew Cuomo is a right-winger and running to spoil this race. That's it. I want to improve people's lives in New York. This kind of silly back and forth is a simple distraction for a campaign that is failing, for a campaign that is failing for good reason, because they do not care about New Yorkers, and New Yorkers have already responded by voting for me, Zohran Kwame Mamdani, over Andrew Cuomo. That's it. Excited to see all the worst humans online start backing Andrew Cuomo because of this. Yeah, it's a unique moment. Like I said, at worst, this would turn into like Hassan's association with politicians is bad when it's not. But they will try online in the little world that we live in, where no normie actually broaches that side of the internet. It'll make it seem as though my association with Zohran Mamdani was a boon, was a burden, was a negative and not like a positive one, and that's it. And they'll just recirculate that bullshit back and forth over and over again with the hopes that Zohran will disavow or condemn or something. And I don't, you know, not Boone, sorry, Bane. I don't think it's necessarily, like I said, even if Zohran were to come out and be like, yeah, I don't know this guy, fuck him. I disavow Hassan Piker. That, you know, it doesn't bother me beyond the fact that I think it's bad instincts. That's it. It's not dissimilar to me being critical of him backing away from like the globalize the intifada message. It's showing me that it's very like he's more susceptible to the squishy liberal optics, maybe a little too much, and in a way that actually doesn't translate to strength and leadership. It's just not a good. We don't live in that era. We don't live in that age. We don't live in that era. So you're literally walking around New York like a month ago and everyone was so excited to see you. No, exactly. So that's it. Like, come on, dude. It's in the same line of attack. I met and hired a Gen Z line cook who's one of my sous chefs now. And when we met, I tried to tell him I watch you. And he goes, you want me to watch Hassan Piker? 3 years later, I mentioned him again. I get my news now. He says, oh, well, that's for the best. If you want to know what's actually going on. Oh, how the turns have tabled. Mohammed El Kurd had a good post on this. Yeah, I saw. Hold on. It's here somewhere. Where was it? Do you guys understand what I mean, by the way? Because it's like, it doesn't, association with someone like myself, a fucking niche online left figure, is either seen as like a major positive for those in the know. Like a lot more people have a positive association with that than a negative one. Or they just like are completely oblivious and think like, why the fuck is this a big deal? Like, what are you talking about? Like they're trying to make this a big deal. But the problem is you must be extremely online to think that this would be a big deal association. Do you see what I mean? I don't have enough motion and broad mainstream disapproval for this to actually stick. And for the most part, my mainstream appeal is positive, regardless of how much the ADL comes after me and attacks me with regular frequency.